Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kobo Sports Room, and this is where we give you transfer update, football analysis, preview and review. All football content, you get it here. So make sure you click on the subscribe button, you press the post notification bell. Kobo Sports Room. You know, yesterday was the deadline day for a 10-day transfer window for the teams that are playing in the Club World Cup, or that will be playing in the Club World Cup. So 10 days transfer window for them. A lot of them used that to their advantage. A lot of them also flopped certain deals. So we are here to talk about the transfer window, a mini transfer window that was shut yesterday. Certain things went on, during the deadline day for yesterday's transfer window for the Club World Cup teams. So we will talk about Man City, talk about Chelsea, and then a bit on Leroy Sané, that is Bayern Munich, and some couple of things about the Premier League. Let's get straight into the video. This is Kobo Sports Room, and this is your 10 days transfer deadline day. Let's get straight into the video. So let's start with Manchester City. Manchester City, Kevin De Bruyne is going. They need to rebuild, because a lot of their players are kind of, aging. Even Bernardo Silva is aging. Kevin De Bruyne is gone. He's gone. And today we have heard news about Kevin De Bruyne going to Napoli, or he has signed for Napoli. But possibly it's a done deal. It's a done deal. So De Bruyne will be going to Napoli. So a lot of them are aging, and they need to replace them. They need to rebuild their squad again. They need to revamp their squad again. And in the 10 days transfer window for the Club World Cup teams, the winner of that transfer window is Manchester City, because the signings these guys have done is just mind-blowing. So they signed Tijani Reinders, or they completed a deal for Tijani Reinders yesterday. 70 million euros add-ons included from AC Milan to Manchester City, and then he will be going to the Club World Cup. So Tijani Reinders is a Manchester City player. Ryan Cherki is also a Manchester City player. He completed his medicals, I think, yesterday, and then a 40 million euros deal for Olympic Lyon, and he is going to Manchester City. You'll be part of the Club World Cup team for Manchester City this particular summer. So Tijani Reinders, Ryan Cherki, and let me tell you one thing. Ryan Cherki's deal was actually, it was 34 million euros. But then Olympic Lyon was bold, and they fought for 6 million add-ons, or 6 million bonuses to be included. And there is something in this transfer window, this 10 days transfer window, called Club World Cup tax. So Club World Cup tax also was kind of a blockage for Manchester City in this deal, and they paid 6 million more to Olympic Lyon for Ryan Cherki. So the amount was 40 million euros for Ryan Cherki from Olympic Lyon to Manchester City. We also have Ryan Aït-Nouri. So Aït-Nouri also came from Wolverhampton Wanderers, a 50 million deal from Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolverhampton Wanderers, a £60 62 million for Matthias Cunha, and then 50 million for Aït-Nouri. That's like almost 120 million for Wolverhampton Wanderers this season. They should replace the squad. They should replace them, because if you don't replace them, it means that your quality, even though you nearly went for relegation last season, but your quality is still coming down, because Ryan Aït-Nouri is out, and Matthias Cunha is also out from your team. You have about 120 million euros. You should be able to replace them. So that's my message to Wolverhampton Wanderers. But Ryan Aït-Nouri is also a left back coming in for Manchester City to the of course the Club World Cup. Marcus Bettinelli from Chelsea, he's a third goalkeeper from Chelsea to Manchester City too, and he will be a free agent to go and help the goalkeeping situation in Manchester City. So the winner of the 10 days window, or the transfer window for the Club World Cup teams, is Manchester City. Of course, they have done really, really, really well. They have spent their 10 days well. They started the deals very, 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 very early in the, during the season. That was why they started the deal. And then during the 10 days, they completed 4 transfers. Within a space for about 2 weeks, they have been able to complete 4 players for their team to come and revamp their squad. Let's move to the deadline day. One of the deadline day big story was Jamie Bino Gittins from Borussia Dortmund BVB, my team, to Chelsea. So Jamie Bino Gittins, left winger from Dortmund to Chelsea. Of course, Chelsea, he has been under the radar for Chelsea. He has been on their list for some couple of windows, and they decided to go in hard for Jamie Bino Gittins. But yesterday, something happened. Sebastian Kerr, the sporting director for Borussia Dortmund, couldn't agree a deal with Joe Schultz and then Paul Stanley for Jamie Bino Gittins. According to reports, they need 60 to 70 million euros for Jamie Bino Gittins to move from Borussia Dortmund to Chelsea. That is what they need. And an exclusive came from Fabrice Hawkins. Fabrice Hawkins, the French journalist, big shout outs to him. Fabrice Hawkins dropped a bomb exclusive right after a deal, collapsed for Mike Mignon from AC Milan to Chelsea. For about some hours, couple of hours, we heard Fabrice Hawkins reported that Chelsea has, sent, or they have, of course, improved their bid for Jamie Bino Gittins from 35 million or 34 million euros to 50 million euros. And I knew that Borussia Dortmund was eventually going to, reject this bid. Because if you improve the bid from 30 something million to 50 million, it means that there is more money there. There is more money from where it came from. So Borussia Dortmund rejected the bid, and then Chelsea were willing to, sit down with them to discuss what is actually going on, or to discuss the bidding war or the bidding process for Jamie Bino Gittins. And this came from Fabrice Hawkins via, Florian Plattenberg. Florian Plattenberg actually reported that within an hour, Borussia Dortmund rejected the bid for Jamie Bino Gittins for 50 million from Chelsea. So Jamie Bino Gittins to Chelsea deal won't happen today. Dortmund have rejected 50 million offered for Jamie Gittins. The club demanding around 65 million as per Florian Plattenberg. Negotiating will restart soon as Chelsea wants the 20-year-old winger this summer. So let me quickly say something. The Chelsea directors nearly flopped this deal. Of course, they have flopped the deal because we are going to a Club World Cup with our same squad from last season, and even the squad, it will kind of fall short a little bit because the players are also tired. So you needed to revamp their squad, or you needed to revamp the squad. You didn't do it. And you flopped the Mike Mignon deal, even though I kind of agree with them for, not paying huge for the Mike Mignon deal. But this time around, it means that you are going to pay more. If you go for the Club World Cup, or you go to the Club World Cup and things didn't go well for you, they will know that things didn't go well. That is why you are coming back. So if you are coming back for Jamie Bino Gittins, it means that you would have to pay the 65 million or more for Jamie Bino Gittins. If you go and things didn't go on well for you in your goalkeeping situation and you are coming back for Mike Mignon, it means that you would have to pay the 25 million pounds of what AC Milan are asking for, or you go home. And if you win the competition, or you do well in the competition, money will come in, and then the teams will know that you have money now, so we don't have to pay more for these kind of players or these sort of players. So Chelsea are standing in a lose-lose situation for Chelsea and their sporting directors. As a matter of fact, they didn't do well in this 10-day transfer window. Papa. They have really suffered, and they have really failed the coach. I will get to that part when I move to the Gigi Petrovic deal. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jamie Bino Gittins to Chelsea will not happen. Mike Mignon for Chelsea will not happen for the Club World Cup. Let's quickly move to Leroy Sané, and then we'll come back to Chelsea and then the Premier League again, and we end the video. Leroy Sané is not going to extend at Bayern Munich. He will be moving to Galatasaray as a free agent this summer, and this came from David Ornsteins. Galatasaray agreed to sign Leroy Sané as free agent, 3-year deal worth up to 15 million per year. That is 50 million euros per year net, not signed yet, but in place once Bayern Munich terms expire. Hilal and Fenerbahce are also keen, plus Bayern Munich wanted to renew, but the 29-year-old Leroy Sané chose Galatasaray. So of course, according to The Athletic and then according to David Ornsteins, 15 million net salary for Leroy Sané, and according to certain reports, the net salary is 10 million euros, and then the 5 million is a signing on bonus for Leroy Sané. And even some reports are also saying that the signing on bonus will be 15 million, and that Galatasaray are going to spread the 15 million, and they will pay 5 million to this particular 3-year contract. They will pay 5 million in the first year, 5 in the second year, and 5 in the third year as part of a signing on bonus for Leroy Sané, plus his 10 million per year net salary. So that is money. All right, that is money, because 10 million for 3 years is how much? 30 million euros net salary. Listen, net is different from gross, because Bayern Munich offered Leroy Sané 15 million, I think 60 million gross salary. So gross salary, when it comes to net, of course, it is going to be around, let's say, 10 million or 9 million. Leroy Sané doesn't want to do that. So it is all about the money, bro. I'm all about the money. Like broke like never know me. It's all about the money. You know, it's all about the money. And the Galatasaray are offering 10 million net salary plus 50 million, according to certain reports, as a signing on fee. So 30 million for 3 years plus an extra 50 million as a signing on bonus. How much are we talking about here? 45 million salary from Galatasaray to what? To Leroy Sané. That's if he can complete all his 3 years at Galatasaray. So Leroy Sané is also moving from Bayern Munich as a free agent to Galatasaray. If they can get Victor Osimhen, I think Galatasaray will do well in the Turkish league and then also in the Champions League. Let's move to Chelsea. After the Jimmy Bino Gittins deal collapsed, we heard news from Simon Phillips that Chelsea make contact with Morgan Rogers' camps ahead of a potential summer move. So Morgan Rogers, of course, he has been one of the players under the radar for the left wing role for Chelsea. So I will not be shocked if they have made contact with, the Morgan Rogers camp. But Simon Phillips is not a source, even though he's a Chelsea source, but he's not that reliable source we would talk about, because yesterday I saw that Simon Phillips was kind of, down. He broke down as a Chelsea fan and also as a journalist for the fact that Chelsea couldn't, secure a deal for Mike Mignon and then Jimmy Bino Gittins too. So he's an English journalist too. So it is, always right that he will link his boy, that is, an English player, to Chelsea. So of course, Morgan Rogers is also under the radar for Chelsea. Now let's move to Gigi Petrovic and then the directors. I am angry, hence my attire, or hence my costume for this particular video. Chelsea leave Petrovic out of the Club World Cup squad despite no Mike Mignon deal. So an exclusive from McLaw is saying that Chelsea will not include Gigi Petrovic or Georgi Petrovic in the Club World Cup. So it means that the Club World Cup, we are going to have Sanchez and then, Philip Jorgensen as our goalkeepers. And then eventually Sanchez is going to be the first goalkeeper for Chelsea in the Club World Cup. And I find this a pathetic decision from the directors, from the sporting structures in Chelsea, or from the sporting directors in Chelsea. This is a pathetic decision from Chelsea. The owners, the employers, the directors, everybody. This is no good for Chelsea, because Petrovic is coming in as a goalkeeper who did really, really well in the Le Championnat for Strasbourg last season. You should be able to allow him to challenge for the slot, or challenge for the, first goalkeeping, slot with Sanchez. But you don't leave him home for this competition, this big competition. And the reason they brought out is kind of mind-blowing. It doesn't make sense in the sense that, according to Matt Law, Chelsea have decided not to take any player who spent the season out on loan other than Andre Santos, as they see the Club World Cup as a continuation of the 2024-2025 campaign. So this is what McLaw is saying. They are not going to send any player who spent a season-long loan outside Chelsea, but they are sending Andre Santos. What are you telling me? Andre Santos also had a season-long loan at Strasbourg. So why are you sending Andre Santos but not sending Gigi Petrovic? You know what? Paul Winstanley, Joe Shields, Toboli, Ekbali, all the people in Chelsea, Laurie Stewart, you are all cowards. You should be bold to tell Petrovic. You should be bold to tell Chelsea, fans that you want to, cash out on Petrovic, because he came from the New England resolution for about, I don't remember, but it wouldn't pass 20 million. And now, if you want to sell Petrovic, you can sell Petrovic for like 40 million, 35 million. So that it means that you are getting profit. You should be bold to tell the Chelsea fans that you want to sell Petrovic. Why do you bring this, sort of reason not to send Petrovic to the Club World Cup? He is up for sale. Be bold. Don't be cowards. Tell Chelsea fans that you want to sell the keeper. Of course, all Chelsea fans will know, or they know, that this goalkeeper is a very good goalkeeper. He's very, very, very good, more than Sanchez. I don't know what is happening there in Chelsea, honestly. But the directors are all cowards. They can't even come out with their chest out to tell the fans that we want to sell Gigi Petrovic. Shame on them. Shame on the Chelsea directors. Shame on their employers too. Let's move to the Premier League. And according to Martin Ziegler, exclusive Premier League TV right or TV view numbers dropped 10% last season. Of course, it's as a result of the lack of title race in the Premier League, and that's why it dropped by 10%. But 10% is nothing, even though it's something, because during the previous season, that is the previous 2 seasons, we have had an increase in the TV right or in the TV viewership. But this one last season has dropped 10% in the TV viewership. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your transfer and then some news in the Club World Cup 10 days transfer window. It is shut, and then we will revisit the transfer window around 16th of this particular month. Thank you so much for your time. This is Kobo Sports Room. Click on the subscribe button, drop or your comment down below. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for your time. Take care of yourselves and peace.